Jules, we asked you for your possible starting 11 for Chelsea. Talk us through it.
Yeah, that's right. So, I think the defence and the midfield, especially if Conte is fit and we put Conte in the team, believing that he should be okay to start alongside Kovacic. Otherwise, Jorginho will come in for one of them. But then, obviously, the big question mark is up front, and I think Jurgen Klopp was spot on. No one really knows what combination Tuchel is going to pick. I think it's really hard to drop Lukaku then after the 2 games that he just had, and not just the 3 goals in the last 2 games, and albeit against teams that are not as strong as Liverpool in Leeds away and Wolves, but more that the way the team played for him or with him, the way he dropped, the way he participated, far more than maybe he did in previous starts in the Premier League. So that was very encouraging, I thought. And I think, okay, with Lukaku in that kind of form, with the physicality, play him. Mount has to play because he's Chelsea's best player this season. He's been involved in 21 goals in total in the Premier League this season. So Mount obviously will be there. And then what do you do with the third man? Is it Havertz, who has been really good for you but hasn't really played much the last 2 games? Do you keep faith in Timo Werner, who in cup competitions has done quite well for Chelsea? Do you go with Pulisic? I personally think that we could see a Havertz, Lukaku, Mount trio up front. But again, right now, I think it's everybody's guess.
Do you agree, Craig? Who do you think the 3 up front should be?
I think the 3 goals might have swung it. And I think, and go back to the teams, people get caught up with who's going to play. Let's be honest, Liverpool ain't changing their team for Chelsea. So guess what? You get a team sheet an hour before the game, and then you figure out who's going to play. But Liverpool ain't changing, no matter who plays up front. Yeah, it'll be a different dynamic, but they're not going to, Klopp's not second-guessing, who do I play, Matip, Kanate, because who's going to play there? But I think Thomas Tuchel, going back to Chelsea, could use this with Lukaku, a little bit of mind management, and say, look, it's been a tough season, partly down to yourself with the interview. It's derailed domestically. You've played the last couple of games. You've got 3 goals. You could end the season well here. Yeah, the future, we don't know what's going to happen, whether he stays, whether he goes. But he could get some kudos back with the Chelsea fans, and I think that's how I would play it if I was Thomas Tuchel. Look, the fans have been on your back, but you're a little good mini run of form here. You could, as I say, make the Chelsea fans kind of like you again. So I would use that to try and get in Lukaku's head to finish the season strongly. And because of those 3 goals, I think there's every chance he could start. But on the other hand, I wouldn't be surprised either if it was Havertz through in the middle and Werner and Mount floating in behind. I just don't know.
Jan, should Lukaku start?
Yeah, should he start? I'm not sure that Thomas Tuchel knows as we're speaking, because I had a privilege and to pick his brain a bit before the Champions League final, and it was quite interesting. He told us before the game, the night before the game, and he said that was Champions League final coming up, and he said, I only got 8 players that I know are going to play, and I'm thinking of now which of the players can come on from the bench and change the game. Some kind of modern coach kind of thinking there, and at the end he made that right. I think that the form from Lukaku has, of course, given him better cards. On the other side, playing Lukaku is more predictable how to defend against, because when you play with a Havertz, a Mount or a Werner, you're not 100% sure what kind of dynamic will be up front, but it's a big decision for him to make, and I think the boys have been absolutely right. Going to Lukaku and saying, listen, let's forget what was and what will be tomorrow, we don't know. This is your chance to save the season for Chelsea Football Club, and Tuchel could use that as a leadership kind of motivation for Lukaku.
Yeah, he did say, Tuchel, in his news conference, that the final call will be made in the morning.
And while we focus on Lukaku, and rightfully so, I think there are other aspects of this game that are going to be critical for the potential success of Chelsea, and that is those guys who play underneath, whether that's Mount, Havertz, Kovacic, Kante, that they force Thiago Alcantara to defend. So Fabinho is not there. You got to force Thiago Alcantara to cover the ground defensively. And then whenever he has the ball, those guys working around Thiago Alcantara, putting pressure on him so that he's not carrying the pace of the game. You force Thiago Alcantara to defend, it takes away from everything else that he does on the field. He doesn't want to do it. It's not a natural thing for him. So force him into a position in which he has to be aware of what's behind my right shoulder, what's behind my left shoulder, why is this guy floating here, who's going to cover that space. Force him to think about the defensive part of the game, and that's going to take away from the things he can do in transition going forward.
Well, Romelu Lukaku has actually been in the news for much more than the starting 11 in the FA Cup final. It's due to his future, and talk via his agent, Federico Pastorello, who said, "We cannot think about negotiations. Chelsea are in takeover discussions. We do not know the new owners, let alone if we can open talks with Inter or Milan. We have to wait. I don't discuss the tactical choices, but it's obvious that there was a problem." Right? So that's Lukaku. This is Lukaku responding to what we've seen here. "Never ever will I let someone speak for me. I kept my mouth shut and focused on helping the team and end the season in the best way as possible. So if someone out there is trying to say something about me in the club, not in my name."
What?
All right,
Well
Jules.
Well
Jules,
done.
what is going on here?
It's a good question. They used to get on together, Pastorello and Lukaku. Maybe not so much anymore. I think Pastorello is not the... He's an agent that has helped the move, for example, for Lukaku to Chelsea from Inter. They've worked together for a long time, but I believe they're not as... I think Pastorello is an intermediary now in the career of Romelu Lukaku, not the official sole agent, if you want, for example. And that, for me, that's how I interpret as well the reaction from Lukaku. Or like, okay, you've helped me before, and there's no doubt, and I think they are still friends. But right now, this is a different matter. It's a matter that me, on my own, can also decide what to do, and you can't talk and say to people what I'm thinking right now. And I think that was right from Lukaku. The problem is this is the wrong timing again. This is not what you want on the eve of an FA Cup final when you have a chance to play, when you've been on good form. And again, all of this is coming like a parasite around you and around Chelsea and your future. And people talk about you more about that than about the final the following day. So this is the story of Lukaku's season, really. Timing has been a big problem for most of it.
Yeah, and obviously you explained the situation behind it there, Jules, but it's been reported very much so as his agent, and that's what we're seeing across all the papers. So that's not going to help Lukaku in this situation. And as Jules said, Jan, it isn't good timing at all.
No timing at all. I mean, if there's going to be a trophy before the FA Cup trophy, it should go to the most stupid agent I've ever seen this season. Doing that, when Lukaku was told off after he did that interview, Lukaku has kept his mouth shut. I think he responded brilliantly here. And there are some agents out there, or there are some football people out there who doesn't know anything about timing. I can't see any way that will help this agent except getting some quotes in and around the football world. Because this is so stupid. This is a reason to be fired. And if he is employed by Lukaku, he should be gone. And like I said, Lukaku done well, responded straight away. Shows that maybe he has matured a bit in terms of not talking about other clubs. And the last months has been turbulent at Chelsea, and they don't need one stupid agent and giving those kind of comments. And I'm saying stupid in terms of timing. I don't know him personally. He's probably the brightest man alive.
What do you make of it all, Craig?
I wouldn't bother. It's a lot of nonsense. I wouldn't bother with it. I mean, let's be honest. Who is this guy? You know, apart from a handful of people, you know, most people wouldn't know him if he popped up as a crouton in their soup. So, who cares? I mean, who cares? It's just it's just more. There's so many people talking about players these days. So, listen, Lukaku's been in a bigger mess this season already with his interviews. So I'm sure he's not particularly worried. He's responded to it. Finished the season well. Big opportunity tomorrow. Big showcase opportunity, and we'll see what happens in the summer. But I think, you know, it looks likely to me that fee dependent, that I think Lukaku could be gone from Chelsea next summer. As I say, depending on the finances of other clubs.
That's
But
one
may I
end
say,
of the pitch. Go on.
Yeah, Kay, I just want to say that I just got a feeling I'm in Germany now, as I always am. I think that maybe
Yeah, in
Robert
front of a
Lewandowski.
hotel room door again.
I have the best
lighting,
studio.
best lighting.
I have the best studio at room 678 in Maritime Hotel, exactly. but what I wanted to say, what Craig is saying, what are happening this summer, we don't know. We know that here in Germany there is a guy called Robert Lewandowski who wants to move, who wants to leave the club, and he could be a dark horse, outsider for the position as a number 9 at Chelsea Football Club as well. There's a lot of people talking about Barcelona, but let's watch this summer. It's going to be interesting also in that department.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.